Hi, please send more voice notes.
Yeah. Basically just advanced pollinators. Will flow?
I love when messages go, help. See,
The poinsettia is from Mexico. Replicate those conditions.
we should try wrapping a person up in paper.
Spring planter or a large house plant in your car and put the seatbelt on it.
Every time!
Exactly.
The Helpful Gardeners, the podcast that digs into the buzziest plant trends and news you need to know, regardless of your growing zone. Colin is a skilled horticulturist with decades of growing experience across Canada. Brandi is the greenest of green thumbs with a love of asking questions. Welcome to our garden nook.
Oh, I didn't tell you the other day. I was in the dog park with Jimmy.
Yeah?
We walked past another dog, so I said hi to it and pet it. And I was like, oh, and it was very proud of its ball. So I talked to it. And then the woman with the dog, she was like, are you the garden guy, Golden Acre? And she was like, I thought so. She's like, when I heard you talk to the dog, she's like, I recognized the voice. She's like, I thought it was you. Anyway, I was talking to her and she was asking me about some trees and whatnot. And then she was telling me her daughter is getting into plants in a big way.
Like for a hobby?
Yeah, like she's wanting to bring some into her house, and she was rank amateur.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, tell her to go to Golden Acres and listen to our podcast. And she was like, oh my God, I'm definitely going to tell her. And I was like, and if she has any questions, she can write to us and we'll answer them.
Hey,
yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So
I wish more people would send like voice notes.
Yeah, I know.
Hi. Please send more voice notes. Yeah. I love when we receive voice notes of just people listening to the podcast. And if they have questions, they want to know what else Colin is making for dinner, that kind of thing. Honestly, like the best way to support our podcast is by reviewing over wherever you're listening on podcasts, following along and sharing with friends. And of course, leaving us voicemails because I love when we get to do every single Wednesday, we get to dive into our inbox. And it's great because it gives us an idea of what you want to learn more about. And we have a very timely question from Nicole, who went over to our Instagram at the Helpful Gardeners Pod and sent us in this message. Help! I just bought. I love when messages go help. See,
I like how it's not like help. It's like help.
That's how I imagine Nicole has asked this question. Help. I just bought a peace lily a week ago. And the soil was super dry, but it wasn't wilted at all. I gave it a splash of water day 1 and just gave it a bit now too. I don't know how much time, but I assume like a few days. Not sure why the flowers are turning brown. I feel like it's not as straight up as when I bought it either. What should I do?
Great rule of thumb for any plant like that. And I know this sounds like counterintuitive. The flower is not an indicator of the health because the flower's job is to die. Okay, so any flower will be short-lived. If she was saying the foliage is going brown or mushy or the foliage is sinking, then we're looking at a problem. So what can happen is you buy a plant, you move it, you take it home, or if you transplant one in a garden, and it can go into shock because they don't like to be moved. So when a plant goes into shock, first thing it wants to do is redirect all of its energy to its roots to ensure that it can stay alive, which means dropping flowers. Okay, so if she's got this plant and moved it and now it's in a different location and it's not getting the same amount of sunlight and maybe it was a little dry, and this is why watering is always such a hard subject because it's subjective, right? I've talked to people before and I'm like, oh, you want to give that plant a good drink and you see them give it like 50 mils. And I'm like, in what world is that a good drink?
It's hard though. A good drink for you versus I get that.
That's why on some plants, I've actually learned, like I've actually used a measuring cup and measured it so I can tell people, okay, my plant at home, I give it 150 mils twice a week. And I try and give them some idea on what it's going to need. But I have a peace lily in my office. Okay. One of the flowers, I just cut it off yesterday. Totally brown and withered. The other two are still white. That's not an indicator of health. That's an indicator that flower's time was up.
Yeah. And I can get it from Nicole's perspective because she bought this plant and it was living its greenest, finest life in the greenhouse, which it's very hard to replicate conditions in a greenhouse at home. And then you get it home and then all of a sudden it's not doing great and you're seeing flowers dying and you're like, what am I doing?
You see people, and especially in perennials, I'm not talking annuals, houseplants I'm going to consider as kind of a perennial because we have them for an extended period of time. And when you see them shopping, you'll literally see them move a healthy plant to go for one that has the biggest flower.
Interesting.
And the flower is what catches out. Like, we're basically just advanced pollinators. Flower. The irony there is that some plants, if they are very unhealthy and they think they're dying, will put out more flowers because more flowers means more seeds. So if that plant dies, at least it propagated.
Wow.
So at least it's alive. So I don't care about the flowers. Yeah. Like I've said to you before, sometimes if you're planting a perennial garden, live head the first year. Do not let it go to flower. You want the energy back in the roots. As much as it's disappointing, and I know what it's like, especially when you buy a flowering plant. Like I've said that to people before where they're like, oh, my perennial garden, what can I do? I'm like, cut all the flowers off. And they look at me like I'm like, what I want you to do is kick your child.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the look on their face is horror.
Yeah.
You're asking me everything you can do to have the best success. That's one of your answers.
Yeah. And it's like the last thing that you would naturally think of, right? You hear people talk about how they can't get their houseplant to flower again. So it's like going in for a haircut and being like, take 4 inches off and being scared that you won't grow it back again. You'd be like, I don't know what I'm going to look like. I'm going to have to live with this for a while. I bought this plant for the flowers. And what if I can't get it to flower again?
Yep. Fertilizer, water, light.
Yeah. And actually, today I also wanted to kind of dive into a little bit of that. What happens if you buy a plant at the greenhouse and when you bring it home? What are some of the things that you should be thinking about? So one of the things that I thought of was literally when you take it from the greenhouse home, make sure it is protected.
The cutoff here is 10 degrees.
10 degrees, yeah.
Plus 10.
Yeah.
Plus 10. I want to make that abundantly obvious. Anything lower than that, it's wrapped. It's 11, but is it 11 at the airport? What is it here?
Yeah.
We leave it to the cashier's discretion.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I saw somebody leave Costco the other day with a houseplant and it was 1 or 2 degrees, no wrapping or anything. And so it's interesting. I see folks downstairs buying plants. They're like, why are you wrapping it? And so we have to explain.
Kudos to the admin here and the staff here. We will not charge for a bag if we're the ones who tell you that we have to protect your plant.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair to be like, you have to have a bag to protect your plant. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
The one that breaks my heart every year, and I'm not gonna name names, but I think everybody's seen it. But when you go to certain box stores and you're pulling in and you watch people walk across the parking lot in December at minus 20 carrying a poinsettia.
Oh, yeah.
And then people go, I don't bother with poinsettias anymore. I can't keep mine alive. No, you can.
No, and that's probably why.
A store sold it to you and didn't wrap it.
Yeah.
Has to be paper.
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
Because we get people who say, I have a reusable bag. Or people who, I say it has to be paper. Paper is the most common. But plastic doesn't work because it doesn't insulate. And reusable shopping bags often have a very open weave. So the wind and the cold go straight through, where paper has an insulating barrier. I've brought plants home from here in the middle of winter, like minus 30, and they're fine.
Yeah.
We
should try wrapping a person up in paper.
That went dark.
I'm just curious, like if that would create the same effect for us. Because we always say, like, if you're wearing a jacket, then your plant should wear a jacket too, right?
Well, I feel yes and no. Because I
volunteer.
You're not letting that one go. Okay.
If you want to see this on the Helpful Gardeners pod, leave a comment down below.
And we could have a new Halloween costume for next year.
Paper bag princess.
The difference is if I get cold, okay, and I think we've all done stupid things like this where we know it's ridiculously cold when we left something in the car and we run out to get it and all we're wearing is our t-shirt and it's minus 30 and it's cold. Yep. It's very not comfortable. But the moment you come back inside, you warm up pretty quick. A lot of times plants don't. If you think about how small a cell is, okay, and how little water is in it, but how much water a plant cell holds in the wall, all it takes is that to rupture and it's done. It's not getting better. That leaf, that area is dead. So that's the difference.
Like rust on a car.
Yep, exactly. Once it's there,
Yeah. Number 2, plant jail. So when you bring your plant home, it's a good idea to quarantine it.
Yep.
We talked about this in a previous podcast episode. You never know what might be hitchhiking on your plant. So you want to make sure that it's away from your other beauties. And just for like, I don't know, like how long would you say? A week, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've told my horror story and it's just not good.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, where's Waldo? Get up close and personal. So we're going to use a flashlight. We're going to look for any bugs.
We are never, ever, ever, ever. I've never once heard of anybody, us included on our show, anybody upset that somebody got a hold of them and said, I think my plant has bugs. And they get to tell them, no, it doesn't. You're okay. That's just natural development or one sickly leaf. Don't look and be like, I think it should be okay. And then 5 days later, you have an infestation.
Yeah. Hey, bugs happen, right?
Yep.
Number 4, light test. So if you think about how much light it's receiving in the greenhouse, it's filtered.
Yep.
It's not like, burning it or anything. And most houseplants like bright indirect sunlight, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of the go-to.
Yeah. So when you first bring a plant home, where should you put it? Should you put it directly in the spot that it's going to live, or should you kind of ease into it? What do you think?
I think you should buy the plant according to the light. So if you're like, oh, I really want to plant in said area of the room, it's kind of a dark spot. I need to consider that. Or it's extremely bright. I need to consider that. Then you come and you go, have this area. It gets a ton of light. What do you recommend?
Love that.
Well, we have a 3-in-1 moisture meter. It measures your moisture, your pH, and your light.
Oh, love it.
So you put it on light, lie it on the table or stick it in a pot, whatever. Leave it in an area and then go look, and it tells you how much light that area got.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Now you're coming and you're not going, I think it gets this much light. You're going, that's how much light my plant gets.
Yeah. Number 5 is drafty dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to make sure that all the plants are away from any vents and exterior doors.
Yep.
I had a townhouse and we put all of our plants in front of the door, and then -30 hit and then they died. We don't want them to be in front of heat vents either, because that could dry them out.
Yep.
And that also plays with your watering schedule too. Hey.
Yeah, I've got some, and I've got so many plants I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the winter, some of I can't. I've got nowhere else to move them, and some of them I just know that they need some extra. Like my lemon tree, and the base of it is that far from a vent that just blasts hot air straight up into the pot. Now it loves it because it likes the light and the warmth. But that soil, because lemon tree's like a well-drained soil, so the soil dries out quickly anyway.
Yeah.
So that lemon tree, lately when the heat's been on, I've had to be watering it 3 times a week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Number 6, the finger test. I've heard of a lot of people being like, I've brought my plant home, I'm going to instantly water it. But what you want to do, and not even looking at the top of the soil, I love the finger test.
Yep.
So go into that a little bit more. So like, how deep do you put your finger?
So normally they say kind of the first knuckle about 1/2 inch up to the nail bed.
Okay.
Kind of idea. If the top part is dry and the bottom part is a little wet, you're probably safe. I heard a good quote once and it said, never judge a moisture by its soil. And a lot of people do the pat test.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, the soil's dry.
Oh.
But you're literally touching the top 3 millimeters. The reason I'm not a huge fan of the finger test, the bigger the pot, the deeper the moisture sits. You can stick your finger in this deep and the soil feels dry, but I put in my moisture meter, which is this deep, and it tells me that it's wet.
So if you have a big plant, then it's almost guaranteed that you should get a moisture meter.
A basic moisture meter is like $12 and they will last you forever. And you can use them indoors and outdoors.
What about the lift test?
That's, you know what? I prefer that to the finger test.
Okay, there you go.
I prefer that, especially with bigger pots. Just feel the weight. Just pick it up. Like literally do that.
Yeah.
And you'll feel the weight. The lighter it is, the less moisture it has.
Okay.
Great point. Yeah.
Number 7, flower power warning.
I love these names.
This is where I get my creativity. Okay. This is what I bring to the show. Flowers dropping, yellow leaves. I know we just talked about how flowers aren't really an indication of health. Knowing the difference between a tiny tantrum and this plant is unhealthy.
Yep.
Right. So I loved what Nicole did, and she reached out right away and she's like, hey, should I be worried about this? Like, what should I be doing? And sometimes if it's just dropping flowers, then we know that we're fine. It's just adjusting and it's putting its its strength into other things.
And it is an indicator. It's an indicator that it's stressed.
Yeah.
I can get stressed. It doesn't mean I'm unhealthy. It means I'm stressed for a short period of time. If I am stressed for a long period of time, then I should probably go see a doctor or adjust my lifestyle accordingly. Same with our plants. So I do like that one dying flower does not indicate that your plant is dead. You know, my peace lily, I think it flowers about 4 times a year. If it doesn't flower in a year, okay, or in 6 months, let's readdress it.
Yeah.
But once it starts flowering, I know roughly how long my flowers should last. If they're not lasting that long, then I've got other indicators. So yeah, keep an eye on it. It might not mean your plant is dead, but it's an indicator.
Love it. Number 8 is outfit change. So when you bring it home, your plant is stressed, right?
Yep.
And what I see a lot of folks doing is like they'll repot it right away. Repotting does create a little bit of stress.
Yep.
So how long would you wait between getting it and repotting it? If say you have this like really cute pot that you want it in?
So when you buy a plant, you know, from somewhere like Golden Acre, there's a good chance it doesn't need to be repotted. I didn't realize how often they get that question until I started working shows. And people will come and they'll take a plant off and they're like, okay, how do I repot this? And it's like, okay, well, you don't need to for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. And they're like, oh, I don't need to. And it's like, no. Like
keep it in the grower's pot, but you can change it. It's like,
yeah. But people think they need to repot it immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I will say about that, actually, you know those, we call them the hats, the paper wrap or the tinfoil wrap?
Yeah.
Take that off immediately.
Oh, okay.
I bought Jenny a Gerbera daisy. Again, I'm thinking, oh, she'll take it off. And a week later, and I was like, oh, we need to take that off. And Jenny's like, I like it. And I was like, look, I'll get you a cover pot. I've got like 30 in the cupboard. Let's say this is my pot and this is my plant. And I put it in. It's never going to fit tight. There's always going to be room at the bottom or room on the sides. So when you water, if you overwater a little bit, well, the plant's still sitting in water. So get rid of those things immediately. Okay. Any cover pot, you can put it in. It's not going to affect it. Leave it in the grower's pot until it needs to be repotted.
So those foil things that you see wherever you buy plants, those are just for marketing.
Yeah, that to look pretty on the counter. Yeah. Get rid of them. Put it on a saucer if it's in the grower's pot, but get rid of those. They are bad news.
Good tip. Number 9, know your child. We need to know everything about this plant. So we need to know, is it toxic to my pets?
Yep.
It's a specific name. A lot of people have a plant and they're like, I don't even know what it is. Double check what its needs are. It's water, light. Anything that you can learn about your plant is going to be beneficial because then that'll help you with knowing if anything's wrong. So like if you have a Thanksgiving cactus, you know that it will flower during Thanksgiving, right?
Find out where your plant is from.
Like Golden Acre?
No, like people come and they go, oh, I have no luck with poinsettias.
Yeah.
Where I say to people, well, the poinsettia is from Mexico, replicate those conditions.
I love that.
There's nowhere in Mexico that you're getting a -20 draft. I don't care if it bothers you or not. That plant has never experienced that. Mexico tends to be very humid. Where it's from can help them develop the habits because now you're trying to replicate that.
You know, I wish that when you went to a plant store, the plants were sort of categorized that way, kind of like when you walk into a wine store and you're like, this wine is from Italy. Regional plants. I would love if houseplants were done that way. And like a subsection within that section.
Or even
to
just
be
put
like
a little flag in them.
Yeah. Okay, that's a lot of flags. Plants can be in more places than one.
Exactly.
But still, I like looking at houseplants in that way. It's different.
I want to talk about one other thing about transporting plants because I know you've done it. How many times have you put a spring planter or a large house plant in your car and put the seatbelt on it?
Every time.
Exactly.
Why does it need the seatbelt? I don't know.
Your 4-inch goes in the cup holder.
All the
time. They fit so well in the cup holder. And then you put your other one in, you put the seatbelt on it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like that is like my favorite thing to do.
I've made Harry ride in the back seat before because the plant I had needed to be in the front seat. It fit better and I could get the seatbelt on it easier. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. So 9 things that you can look out for when you buy a plant from the garden center. And I hope you do this winter season. It's fun. I know we just came out of Mental Health Awareness Month and we were talking about how plants can be very beneficial and especially heading into the colder, darker months. But a huge shout out to Nicole for asking that question today.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, big thanks. And again, if you want to have us answer a question on the show about a plant that you have, or you have a question about anything like what kind of coffee Colin drinks, then you can go over to goldenacre.ca/podcast. And we have a widget right on the page that talks about like, here's how you can record a message and you can be anonymous if you want, or you can make up a name.
Yep.
Hey, this is Clematis. And I have a question, right?
Professor Plum.
Oh, good one. Good one.
This podcast is brought to you by Golden Acre Home and Garden. Find seasonal inspiration for your home and garden in Calgary, Alberta year-round. Visit goldenacre.ca. The comments and opinions expressed by the Helpful Gardeners on this show are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Golden Acre Home and Garden. For more information on everything we covered today and to leave us a voice note, visit goldenacre.ca/podcast. The Helpful Gardeners are on Instagram at The Helpful Gardeners Pod. Keep on growing, gardeners!